Welcome back to another video on the channel, and before I go into the main topic of this video, let me just first say that this is not a script like I normally do. You're gonna hear me say a lot, you're gonna hear me pause a lot. This is just me just talking, maybe kind of ranting, mainly because I just wanted to just get my thoughts in after what has happened and just wanted to just get it out there just as soon as the matches for Nigeria versus Ghana finished. But as you guys already expect, Nigeria did not make it to the World Cup. They got eliminated by Ghana. So I don't know how long this video is going to be, but what I'm going to do is just put some FIFA gameplay in the background. You guys can actually see Nigeria actually win because I'm going to play some Nigerian players in the background. Or you can just listen like a podcast. But that's just going to be the plan. But pretty much I want to talk about the first and second legs, what went right, what went wrong, and then talk about what Nigeria, the national football team, can do from here going forward, now that we know that we're not in the World Cup. Okay, so the first leg was played on Friday in Kumasi in Ghana, and I did a live stream for that first game, just talking about what happened and how the game went and how the game progressed. The game actually ended 0-0, but one thing I had said before in my live stream and also in the video I did before, my predictions of who would make it to the World Cup, I clearly stated that I wasn't sure if the away goals were a thing in this qualification matches, mainly because in the Champions League this year, they have done away with the away goals. So normally away goals happen when a team away, if they score away, they get their goals count for 2 points. But this year in the Champions League, that's done. So essentially, it's just whoever scores the most goals wins that matchup. So my main concern was that I wasn't sure if away goals were a thing. I searched online, I couldn't see anything that said so. And like I said before, in the Champions League, they weren't playing with the away goals. Now, of course, the Champions League is a different tournament, and it's also a different confederation in Europe, right? So in Africa, I maybe expected it to be the same or different. I wasn't sure. But going throughout that whole first leg, I wasn't sure if the away goals were on. Having said that, I am surprised that it seems like the Nigerian players themselves, the coach, the backroom staff, had no idea that the away goals were on as well, because the way we went out in that first leg was surprising. Now, knowing that the away goals were on and away goals were a thing, that if you score away, you get 2 points, we came out very defensive. So the way we lined up in that first leg was 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1 essentially is a very defensive formation. You have your 4 defenders, you have 2 center defensive midfielders who protect your back line, and then you have 3 like attacking midfielders, or pretty much 2 wingers and 1 central attacking midfielder, and then 1 striker up top by himself. But essentially 4-2-3-1 is a very defensive formation. Anybody who plays that formation is trying to protect their goal, either because the defense is not very good, or either because they don't want to get outscored by the opponents. So they want to control the game. They want to not necessarily control the game, but more of like they want to just stop any run-throughs past their back line, because they have 2 central defensive midfielders stopping the opponents. Now, the issue with this formation is that with the away goals on, there's no need for Nigeria to play defensive. I can't understand why they went with that formation. And what's even more surprising is that the 2 center defensive midfielders they played, Joe Aribo and Bonke Innocent, aren't necessarily the best choices in that position. Joe Aribo is more of a central midfielder who is more attacking, right? His body frame not necessarily meant for defense. He's more meant to be passing the ball, making plays. He's essentially our number 10 in our team, even though we don't really have a real number 10 in our team yet. And then Bonke Innocent, who's meant to be the other central defensive midfielder, I don't know his position. I try to search him online. He's a fairly young player, but even in the game when I watched that game, I don't mean to single him out, but Bonke Innocent was not making good tackles. He couldn't really measure up to the other Ghanaian midfielders he was going up against, and he was even subbed out. I think after the first half, I think he had an injury, but essentially he just wasn't good. I don't know why the coach or Eguevan didn't put in Frank Onyeka or Etebo in those positions. I don't understand why. But again, I'm still coming back to I don't know why we went out with a very defensive formation in the first place. Understand that 4-2-3-1 works when you're trying to protect the lead. If this was we're playing Abuja in Abuja first, like in the second leg, I can say okay, 4-2-3-1 makes sense. We don't want Ghana to score and get the away goals to get those 2 points. But we went very defensive, and even when we went defensive, Ghana now saw that and they had liberty to play. Ghana were the better side in that first leg. They had better chances. They had more possession, had more shots. I think the only time we actually had a shot was in the second leg with one small pass from Kelechi Iheanacho to Moses Simon, and we were just all over the place chasing after the game because our formation was bad. I don't know why we didn't go for a more attacking formation. I don't know why we didn't try to attack more, knowing how very vital and important an away goal would be. But very, very surprising that we came out with that formation of 4-2-3-1. The next big thing in that first leg was our forward players. We started off with Victor Osimhen, Moses Simon, Samuel Chukwueze, and Kelechi Iheanacho. Those were the 4 players who were up top. Now, I actually don't want to blame them as much, but to be fair, they underperformed. Not that many shots on goal. The blistering attack that we saw in the African Nations Cup with Moses Simon on the left wing, who was taking on defenders, who was dribbling past people, getting crosses in, getting shots on target, he was very quiet. Samuel Chukwueze on the right hand side, almost quiet as well, and Kelechi Iheanacho, who made one crucial pass to Simon, who got that shot saved, he was very non-existent, and Osimhen too as well, not getting that much service. The other issue with 4-2-3-1 formation, which is also very defensive, is that the forward players in those positions are isolated. So even when you have the ball in possession, they are spread out so much across the pitch that they can't really do much. And that was very evident in the way those forward players played. Very few did we see like passing plays going on. In very few moments did we actually put some passing plays together to actually control the game and have possession. Instead, what we were seeing in that game was hoofing the ball up the field, hoping to use our pace to, outrun the defenders, and then when we see the goal, we shoot on sight. And even that was very, very minimal because again, we barely had the ball in the best in most of the match. So we rarely attacked. And then I just can't understand why we were set up that way. It feels like we didn't know we were meant to score. It feels like we didn't know that the away goals were on. And that first leg really cost us because we should have gotten one goal, at least one goal. A draw was decent if we were going to go back to Abuja and now take it to them. But if you see, when I talk about the second leg, we didn't do that at all. The only positive in that first leg, and I said it in my live stream, was the defense. And looking back now, it's not really a positive because at the end of the day, with the way we set up, we shouldn't have let any goals go in the first place anyway, which we didn't anyway. So we got a clean sheet. But that's because the way we set up meant that if they had even scored against us, that would have been a bigger problem because we set up defensively and they still scored against us, but they didn't. So that was the only positive of that first leg. I said Troost Ekong and Leon Balogun were very good in making some very crucial tackles. It's a shame that Maduka Okoye couldn't make that game because of COVID, but Uzoho in that first leg did a good job making some saves because again, Ghana was the better side in that first leg. Ola Aina and Sanusi were also pretty fine, but again, the job wasn't on the defense to defend. Being away from home, the job was for us to score, and we just didn't do that enough. We didn't attack enough. We didn't play well enough. I don't think we had enough shots, and it cost us. That first leg cost us. Because, like me, who is just a fan watching the game, sure, I didn't know the away goals were on, but I would expect, the coach, the players, the NFF chairman to know that this is an away game. Scoring here would be very, very crucial going forward for this qualification. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they didn't know. I'm pretty sure they knew about it. So my question is, why did we set up so defensively? Why? But anyway, that game ended 0-0. And at the time when that game ended 0-0, I was saying, you know what, this is actually a pretty decent result, because it just means we go back to Abuja, we go back to home field advantage. It's everything to play for. It's a pretty good chance to qualify for the World Cup. But honestly, looking back, it was actually a horrible result. That 0-0 was more like we lost, because we threw away the away goals. We couldn't take advantage of the away goals, which would have been very, very helpful going forward. So that was a very disappointing result. And going to the second leg, it just went downhill from there. So the second leg was 3 or 4 days later in Abuja, and the first thing that I noticed was that we rotated that front line. And that was a very good decision, because to be fair, Moses Simon, Osimhen, Chukwueze, and Iheanacho all underperformed. We brought in Ademola Lookman. We also brought in Emmanuel Dennis, and Osimhen kept his place, which I wish maybe we would have seen Igalo, maybe Musa. You can say that's hindsight and me wishing now that we've lost, but well, we didn't lose actually. We tied both games, but it feels like a loss because we didn't make the World Cup. But yeah, Osimhen kept his place, and I'll talk about Osimhen later on in this video. I think he's a very young, promising talent, but I feel like if he really wants to go to anyway, let me stop first. I'll talk about Osimhen later. Who else came in? Onyeka came in, and Joe Aribo kept his place. Who am I forgetting? I know Calvin Bassey came in for Sanusi. I don't know why, but Calvin Bassey actually did a very good job in that left wing. I'm trying to. I think Etebo came in as well, or he came in later. I can't remember who replaced Iheanacho. But yeah, it was Osimhen, Dennis, Lookman, Aribo, Onyeka. Yeah, those were like the four or five players in that front line there. But the rotation was good. That needed to happen because, to be fair, the starting players in that first leg did not perform well. So things were looking up. The formation wasn't quite right still. I think it was more of a 4-1-4-1. So one CDM player, 4 attacking players in the front line, and then 1 striker up top. And this is where I'll talk about Osimhen later on in the game, because I think Osimhen is a very good striker when he gets his chance, but I think Osimhen needs a partnering striker. I don't think he's a good target man striker just yet. I think he's still very young. I also think he's still very inexperienced, and you can see it in this game. Throughout the whole game, once he saw the goal, he takes a shot. I personally would like him to maybe hold the ball a bit, dribble a bit, use his strength and his height to protect the ball and get a more high percentage chance shot to get almost a guaranteed goal. Even in the second leg, when we desperately needed a goal, Osimhen was doing bicycle kicks. He was trying to do shots that, I mean, look, good job for taking all the shots that you can, but still, you want to take shots that are more guaranteed to score. Don't just shoot wildly. That was my own opinion. But to be fair, when you are up there by yourself, and Osimhen is actually pretty fast. I think he's the fastest player on the team. So you can't blame him for getting the ball. He's alone, and he has to either shoot the ball or get the ball taken away from him, because at the moment in this passage of play, he's the only one by himself up there. The other players in that front line who came on actually made a difference. Lookman was fantastic. I really hope he stays with Nigeria. I think he'll stay with Nigeria, because I know for sure he played for Nigeria to get into the World Cup. And now that he's not in the World Cup, I'm pretty sure now he's trying to think, what do I do? But Lookman was really good. He was very direct. He was actually dribbling and trying to doing exactly what we expected Simon to do in that first leg. And in fact, it was his directness that got us the penalty for us to get a goal in that match. Dennis could have been better, but again, I think Dennis was better than Chukwueze in the first leg, actually taking players on, actually trying to get into the box. That was just what we needed to do in the whole game, just to win the match. And to be fair, Osimhen, who was taking those shots, Dennis, who was dribbling, and Lookman, who was direct as well, were actually doing what they had to do. The only issue in that second leg now was that Ghana knew the assignment. Ghana knew that if they were able to steal a goal, which they did, they just had to defend the rest of the game. And they did that pretty well. To be fair, even the penalty that we got had to go through a VAR check. So if there was no VAR, we wouldn't have gotten that penalty, to be fair. But we'll talk about Ghana later on. So the other players in the team for that second leg, Joe Aribo was actually a lot better, because he was given the freedom to go forward and actually do passing plays and actually distribute the ball better, because I think Onyeka, I think Etebo started. Yeah, I think it was either Otebo or Onyeka. Both were in there. But either way, he was given the freedom to go forward, while we had one CDM, one central defensive midfielder to stay back and do the defensive work, because we were still going to be attacking most of the time. And then the back line was the same back line: Trust Ekong and Balogun and Ola Aina. But then we had Calvin Bassey on the left hand side, who I also feel bad for, because again, young player who gets called up, hoping to go to the World Cup, but again, the team overall was just not enough to qualify. But again, he did really well in that match. I was actually pretty impressed with him. He's actually a pretty tall left back. But I've seen his positions that he plays. He plays left back and center back. He's about 6 feet tall, so he can play those two positions. But what really helps him in the left back, he's not very pacey to go forward. He's not very fast and quick to go forward as a left back. But him being tall and strong is very good defensively. So he stays back as a fullback, and he's able to still do a very good job. So Calvin Bassey I'll be watching where he goes and what he can do in the future. But I was actually pretty impressed. I don't know why Sanusi was still taken out, but he did a good job as a replacement. The player now who didn't do such a good job as a replacement was our goalkeeper. This comes back to what I keep on saying about Nigeria and our inconsistencies. I don't know. He did so well in the first leg. He was one of my positive spots in that first leg, Uzoho. But the long range shot, unfortunately with Partey, that ball that he shot bounced slightly in front of Uzoho, and I think that was what messed him up. He couldn't get down in time. He couldn't lie down in time to put his body on it, and the ball just went through the net. And before even scoring that goal, Ghana were still the better side in the second leg. And that is a problem, because in the two legs, first leg in Kumasi, second leg in Abuja, Ghana was still the better side. Ghana actually knew the assignment. They knew what they had to do. In the first leg, be defensive. But hey, they didn't have to be defensive in the first leg, because Nigeria was doing that job for them. Nigeria said, no, we will be defensive. You attack us. I do not know what was going on in that team talk. I do not know what was going on with the players. We can talk about blaming that coach, blaming Egueven and his coaching staff for not getting the message across to the players that, hey, score in this first leg It's an away leg. It's an away goal. It's pretty much 2 points going forward. But you also have to talk about individual player responsibility, team player responsibility, captain player responsibility. The players themselves, they didn't seem like they knew that if they scored away, that it would have been 2 points. Anyway, second leg, Ghana still was the better side. They knew they had to score. They knew that if they scored, it being away for them in Abuja, that goal would be 2 points. And they came out attacking. I was surprised. Because I saw the match. I was so proud. We sang the national anthem. The fans in Abuja were singing along, "Arise, O compatriots." It was so good. Everybody was into it. The game started off, Ghana was better. So again, something is either going on with the team talk, something's going on with the team understanding, with the team moving together. We're missing that cohesive understanding of what needs to be done. Anyway, Ghana gets the first goal. And all of a sudden, Nigeria starts playing like they're supposed to play. They were playing how they should have played in the first leg. We were now getting passing plays going on. We're chasing the game. We're pressuring Ghana. And look, I was surprised. I was like, wow, where was this whole time? Where was this in the first few minutes of the second leg? And where was this whole time in the first leg, the whole game? Because that wasn't there. We were actually doing pretty well, getting shots, getting corners, putting Ghana on the back foot. And then we get that penalty by Lookman. He gets the ball on the left-hand side, dribbles into the box, gets fouled, VAR check, we get a penalty. I was actually surprised when I saw Troost Ekong going for that penalty. I was like, give it to Osimhen, give it to one of the 4 players. Can you even show the penalty? But he did a good job. That was actually a very good penalty. He feinted to the left, but shot the ball to the right, and the goalkeeper went the other way. So one positive there was the penalty. And then from then, that was it, to be fair. Nothing else happened because, it was your typical what you would expect when one team is trying to protect a lead or try to protect their position and the other team is trying to score and win. It happened. So Ghana was defensive. They sat back. They made changes. Nigeria was attacking. They were pressuring Ghana and they made changes, bringing on more attacking players. But I was just surprised that we only started playing well when we went 1 goal down. And even when we're still chasing the game, it was 1-1. Ghana was going to go ahead with the away goals. We were just wasteful. I was seeing passes going wide. I talked earlier about Osimhen is just shooting from, once he sees the goal, he just takes a shot. I would like him to, take time, dribble, protect the ball, bring the other players into the game and then distribute it. So it's unfortunate that you can say maybe our players are young, players are inexperienced, players don't have the quality yet, but unfortunately we're very, very wasteful. And yeah, so first leg 0-0, second leg 1-1. Ghana goes to the World Cup through away goals. And when I started my channel in August, the hope was that, again, I think I said this before, was that I was hoping to start this channel, watch the qualification matches, watch the Nations Cup, watch the World Cup, and then continue just talking about Nigerian football in general. But, unfortunately now, Nigeria will be going to the World Cup in Qatar in November, and it's very heartbreaking. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just football, it's not that deep, but still, I would have liked to see Nigeria in the World Cup this year. But I think what we have to do now is just, where do we go from here, right? Where do we actually, what's the game plan now going forward? I saw the news this morning that they've already fired the whole staff. Egwevan's gone, his backroom staff is gone, the technical directors, I think, for the coaching staff, so everybody's gone. So now we're now looking for a new coach. We're looking for a new training staff, and I think that's the best way to go. When Egwevan first came in, he was actually very impressive. Those first games in the African Nations Cup, we won them all. Those 3 games, we topped the group, and people were like, "Wow, he's already better than Raw already." But actually, Raw actually got us to the World Cup, and Raw is now looking like we made a mistake sacking Raw, because he already got us to the previous World Cup in Russia before, who knows what he would have done this year. So unfortunately, Aguero started off, he burned very brightly, but he fizzled out very, very quickly. The Tunisia game was horrible. I don't know how. I mean, I know how we lost again. Inconsistencies in our game, and the same thing happened again with this Ghana game here. So the whole coaching staff has gone. So I think that's good. We have to now find a coach quickly, so that we can start getting that consistency going on, getting that philosophy going on, understanding how we play. You see, the best teams and clubs around the world, the best countries and clubs around the world, they understand how they play. They have a set way of playing. They have players that are always going to be there when they call them up for tournaments. So I think we have to start early, and so far so good with the firing of the previous management team, the previous coaching staff. We just hope now we get someone who can actually do the job properly and get us going. The next thing that we now need to now focus on is the transfer window. We have the summer transfer window coming up and the winter transfer window coming up. I said so in my first video on the channel that it's very important for a country like Nigeria, a country in Africa, who in the world footballing stage doesn't get as much exposure as European countries, as even North American countries, and even as like the South American countries. So tournaments like the African Nations Cup and the World Cup are very, very big for us because it allows the country to showcase our players so that clubs around the world can sign them up. We're going to miss the World Cup this year, so that means that free exposure now is gone. Like it or not, it's gone. The crazy thing about the World Cup this year is that it would have been taking place it's taking place in November, so it would have been taking place right before the winter transfers. But the summer transfer that's coming up when the season ends this year for all the other matches, all the other leagues around the world, is very important. So this one now falls down to the individual player performances. So players like Osimhen, Simon, Chukwueze, Lookman, Onyeka, Calvin Bassey, Aribo, players who are probably going to be still with Nigeria in the next 4 years. It's up to them now to actually just make sure that they can be signed. Either they stay in the leagues that they are in, but some of them definitely need to get moved into different leagues or better teams in their league, right? So, for example, Osimhen's in Napoli right now. Would like to see him either go to Juventus or Milan, one of the Milan clubs, or better yet, get a move to the Premier League. Simon is in Nantes right now in Ligue 1. I don't know if he'll be bought by PSG. Probably not possible, but get a move to a Spanish team or Premier League. Chukwueze now is in Villarreal. If you can get a move to a better team in the Spanish league, whether it's probably going to be impossible, but Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, or again Premier League. Now is the important thing now for the transfer windows is hopefully these players get a good move, because at the end of the day, if you get a good move to a good team, to a good club, you improve their quality, you improve their talent, you improve their work ethic, you improve their play style, you improve their technicality, and they'll bring all those improvements back to the national team when we need them for tournaments, for qualifications, for World Cups, things like that. But I think, it's disappointing that we didn't make the World Cup. I don't want to say there's some good that I don't want to say that maybe it's a good thing we didn't make the World Cup, because look, let's not kid ourselves. Most African teams that go to the World Cup won't go as far as the group stage. Some of them might go into the round of 16, but the chances are most of them will crash out in that first round. But at the end of the day, going to the World Cup is just very good for exposure. Going to the World Cup is a once in 4 year thing that doesn't happen very often. Even though I think FIFA is talking about making the World Cup 2 years now. I hope that doesn't happen, but as of now, it's 4 years. I think also the next World Cup would have more players, but as of now, again, not more players, more teams to qualify to. But as of now, it's still, I think, the 32 or with the 30-ish teams that go into the World Cup anyway. But yeah, Nigeria is not getting part of that group. Nigeria is not going to be. We'll be watching the World Cup, on our couches, and that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I wish we played better in those first two legs, but we did not. So that's just my thoughts about it. Hopefully, going forward, we really just start building consistency now with our team. That's what's really needed now. Consistency. We can't be. The Nations Cup was just last month where we blitzed our group. And look, our group, you can say our group was easy. We beat Egypt. I think it was Guinea-Bissau. I think it was Sudan, or I think it was the other team in our group. But you can't play one way and then play a completely different way, right? You can't play and dominate a game and then we'd lose games because we can't break down the defense. So consistency has to start now. A better coaching staff has to start now, and hopefully in the next 4 years we won't be having this kind of talk, this kind of discussion where Nigeria doesn't make the World Cup.